Hello everyone. Thank you all for watching the video and leaving such heartfelt comments. Wishing the whole family good health and peace. James woke early, his office quiet, determination his drive. He dialed Deep's number, a quick call, his voice steady, connection his aim. The phone rang unanswered, a silent response, his brow furrowing, concern his thought. Deep was busy, her hands occupied, responsibility her focus. She gathered her things, a market trip planned, her steps swift, purpose her guide. She headed to the market, a bustling place, her list in hand, efficiency her trait. She needed bulbs, a practical purchase, her mind on the ducklings, warmth their need. The stalls were crowded, a lively scene, her eyes scanning, diligence her habit. She found the bulbs, a successful find, her hands exchanging, satisfaction her reward. The vendor smiled, a friendly gesture, his tone cheerful, kindness his gift. Deep returned home, a short journey, her bag heavier, accomplishment her feeling. She installed the bulbs, a careful task, her hands steady, attention her priority. The duck coop glowed, a cozy haven, the ducklings chirping, comfort their state. She watched them settle, a tender sight, her heart full, happiness her spark. The coop felt alive, a nurturing space, her spirit lifted, effort her joy. She locked the house door, a cautious move, her keys jingling, safety her concern. She walked to the garden, a familiar path, her basket ready, harvest her goal. The sapodilla trees stood tall, a fruitful sight, her hands reaching, labor her strength. She picked a few fruits, a careful selection, her fingers gentle, curiosity her intent. She tasted one, a sweet bite, her smile wide, approval her response. The sapodillas were ripe, a perfect yield, her basket filling, achievement her reward. She worked steadily, a consistent rhythm, her movements precise, dedication her trait. The basket grew heavy, a successful haul, her hands firm, pride her feeling. She tied it shut, a final step, her steps firm, preparation her focus. Deep thought of James, a warm thought, his support evident, affection her light. A rival farmer watched from afar, a hidden observer, his eyes cold, envy his motive. He whispered to a friend, a sly plan, his voice low, malice his intent. Deep remained unaware, a blissful ignorance, her focus on the harvest, love her shield. She carried the basket, a heavy load, her steps steady, determination her drive. The garden felt alive, a cherished space, her spirit high, effort her strength. Deep brought the basket inside, a careful placement, her hands steady, responsibility her focus. She set it down, a task complete, her mind drifting, reflection her state. She lit a fire, a small blaze, her hands arranging, warmth her aim. The flames danced softly, a soothing sight, her thoughts wandering, memory her guide. She sat by the fire, a quiet moment, her heart heavy, empathy her weight. She thought of the woodshop employee, a vivid memory, his struggle clear, sorrow her burden. She had seen him at the hospital, a difficult scene, his mother frail, grief his shadow. Deep had offered money, a generous act, her voice soft, support her intent. The employee had thanked her, a grateful nod, his eyes teary, appreciation his response. She felt a pang, a deep sadness, her heart aching, kindness her trait. The fire crackled, a gentle sound, its warmth comforting, peace her state. Deep thought of James, a tender thought, his presence calming, affection her light. She added more wood, a careful move, her hands steady, attention her priority. The flames grew brighter, a steady glow, her thoughts settling, comfort her feeling. She whispered a prayer, a soft plea, her voice gentle, hope her spark. A neighbor knocked, a sudden visit, his voice cheerful, friendliness his tone. Deep welcomed him, a polite gesture, her smile warm, hospitality her habit. He brought news of the village festival, an exciting event, his tone eager, invitation his aim. Deep nodded, a thoughtful reply, her mind curious, interest her response. They shared a quick chat, a friendly exchange, their voices light, camaraderie their tie. The neighbor left, a warm farewell, his steps quick, excitement his drive. Deep returned to the fire, a quiet return, her thoughts on the festival, anticipation her feeling. She thought of the sapodillas, a future plan, her mind focused, ambition her goal. The house felt cozy, a safe haven, her spirit lifted, effort her joy. She prepared to leave, a new task ahead. Her steps steady, purpose her focus. James tried calling Deep again, a persistent effort. His phone buzzing concerned his drive. The call went unanswered, a silent reply, his worry growing, urgency his thought. He drove to her house, a quick decision, his car humming, determination his focus. He knocked on the door, a firm tap, his voice calling, connection his aim. Deep opened the door, a surprised look, her smile faint, happiness her response. "I've been trying to reach you," James said, a gentle tone, his eyes searching, care his intent. Deep apologized, a sincere reply, her voice soft, regret her feeling. "Let's visit the employee's mother," James suggested, a kind gesture, his tone firm, support his goal. Deep nodded, a quick agreement, her heart heavy, empathy her weight. They gathered their things, a swift preparation. Their steps aligned, unity their bond. They drove to the hospital, a somber journey. Their conversation quiet, reflection their state. James stopped at a fruit stall, a thoughtful purchase, his hands selecting, kindness his trait. He bought a basket of oranges, a vibrant gift. His smile warm, generosity his response. Deep watched him, a tender gaze, her heart full, admiration her light. The car moved forward, a steady pace, their journey continuing, support their guide. At the hospital they found the employee, a familiar face. His expression tired, sorrow his burden. James handed him the fruit, a warm gesture, his voice soft, encouragement his tone. Deep spoke to the employee, a gentle conversation, her words careful, comfort her aim. "Stay strong," she said, a heartfelt wish, her eyes warm, hope her spark. The employee nodded, a grateful look, his voice low, appreciation his response. A doctor approached, a sudden interruption, her clipboard full, duty her focus. She shared an update, a serious tone, her words heavy, concern her weight. The employee's mother needed surgery, a critical need, his heart sinking, fear his shadow. James placed a hand on his shoulder, a reassuring touch, his tone firm, promise his strength. They planned to help, a united effort, their resolve firm, support their anchor. James and Deep left the hospital, a heavy departure. Their steps slow, reflection their state. "Let's go to the village festival," James suggested, a light-hearted idea. His tone warm, distraction his aim. Deep agreed, a faint smile, her heart lifting, anticipation her feeling. They drove to the festival, a lively event, their car parking, excitement their drive. The field was crowded, a vibrant scene, their eyes wide, joy their reward. A football match was underway, a thrilling game, the crowd cheering, energy their pulse. James led Deep to the stands, a careful guide. His hand on hers, protection his intent. They watched the players, a dynamic sight. Their laughter shared, happiness their bond. Deep pointed to a goal, a sudden cheer, her voice loud, enthusiasm her spark. James smiled at her, a tender gaze, his heart full, affection his light. They walked to a food stall, a tempting aroma. Their steps eager, hunger their guide. James bought grilled skewers, a savory treat. His hands offering generosity his trait. Deep took a bite, a delighted taste, her smile wide, satisfaction her response. They tried other snacks, a playful feast. Their hands sharing, connection their joy. The festival buzzed around them, a festive hum. Their spirits high, effort their reward. A rival from the market appeared. A hidden threat, his eyes cold, envy his motive. He whispered to a friend, a sly plot, his voice low, malice his intent. James and Deep remained unaware, a blissful ignorance. Their focus on the festival, love their shield. The rival planned to sabotage their Sapodilla sales, a cunning scheme, his smirk dark, danger his goal. The football match ended, a victorious cheer, the crowd dispersing, excitement their pulse. James bought a small trinket, a thoughtful gift. His hands careful, affection his gesture. Deep accepted it, a grateful nod, her eyes bright, appreciation her response. They took a photo, a cherished memory, their smiles wide, happiness their keepsake. The festival lights glowed, a magical sight. Their hearts aligned, unity their strength. They prepared to leave, a joyful departure. Their steps light, love their guide. James drove back to the company, a focused journey, his hand steady, responsibility his focus. Deep sat beside him, a quiet companion. Her thoughts drifting, reflection her state. They arrived at the office, a busy space, their steps quick, purpose their drive. James kissed Deep's forehead, a tender goodbye, his voice soft, affection his light. Deep waved goodbye, a warm gesture, her smile faint, gratitude her response. James met his new partner, a strategic meeting, their voices firm, business their goal. They discussed new strategies, a detailed plan, their hands flipping papers, ambition their guide. The partner suggested expansion, a bold idea, his tone confident, vision his strength. James nodded, a thoughtful reply, his mind sharp, consideration his trait. They reviewed the numbers, a careful analysis, their pens marking effort their bond. A sudden call interrupted, a jarring sound, its tone urgent, concern its signal. James answered, a cautious move, his voice low, alertness his response. "There's a problem at the warehouse," the caller said, a serious issue, his tone tense, urgency his weight. A fire had started, a dangerous threat. The woodstock at risk, fear its shadow. James stood up, a swift decision, his steps quick, action his drive. He informed the partner, a quick update, his tone firm, leadership his strength. They rushed to the warehouse, a hurried journey, their car speeding, urgency their focus. The flames were visible, a daunting sight. Their hearts racing, worry their burden. James called the fire department, a decisive move, his voice steady, responsibility his trait. The partner gathered the staff, a united effort. Their hands ready, teamwork their anchor. Deep at home heard the news, a shocking update, her heart sinking, concern her weight. She thought of James, a worried thought, his safety on her mind, love her guide. She prepared to help, a determined plan, her steps quick, support her intent. The day turned chaotic, a sudden shift, their challenges mounting, unity their strength. The warehouse fire raged, a critical moment, their resolve firm, effort their bond. James and the partner arrived at the warehouse, a chaotic scene, their steps urgent, responsibility their focus. The fire department was there, a swift response, their hoses spraying, action their drive. James directed the staff, a calm leader, his voice steady, guidance his strength. The flames began to die, a slow relief, their efforts working, hope their spark. The partner sighed, a heavy breath, his relief evident, gratitude his response. Deep arrived at the scene, a determined arrival, her heart racing, support her intent. She found James, a quick reunion, her arms open, comfort her aim. James hugged her tightly, a tender embrace, his voice soft, reassurance his tone. "We're okay," he said, a firm promise, his eyes warm, affection his light. Deep nodded, a quiet agreement, her heart settling, happiness her feeling. They assessed the damage, a careful inspection, their hands pointing, evaluation their task. The fire had spared most of the stock, a fortunate outcome. Their relief shared, effort their reward. James thanked the firefighters, a sincere gesture, his tone grateful, appreciation his trait. The staff gathered around, a united group, their voices low, camaraderie their bond. The partner suggested a new plan, a thoughtful idea, his tone firm, vision his guide. A rival's worker was spotted nearby, a suspicious presence, his eyes darting, guilt his shadow. James confronted him, a bold move, his voice firm, justice his aim. The worker confessed, a reluctant truth, his words shaky, fear his weight. The rival had paid him, a dirty scheme, his intent sabotage, malice his goal. James called the authorities, a decisive step, his tone steady, responsibility his focus. Deep thought of the Sapadillas, a future plan, her mind focused, ambition her drive. She whispered to James, a quiet suggestion, her voice soft, partnership her intent. "Let's rebuild stronger," she said, a hopeful vision, her eyes bright, determination her spark. James nodded, a firm agreement, his hand on hers, unity their strength. The warehouse stood quiet, a new beginning, their hearts aligned, love their guide.
Lễ hội này kỷ niệm sự kiện lịch sử quan trọng của triều đại Nguyễn. Lễ hội Quán Thế Âm. Lễ hội này kỷ niệm sự ra đời của Quán Thế Âm Bồ Tát. Lễ hội Cầu Bông Quảng Nam. Lễ hội này kỷ niệm sự lịch sử quan trọng của địa phương. Ở Nam Bộ có lễ hội Biến Thành, lễ hội kỷ niệm lịch sử quan trọng của thành phố. Lễ hội Đền Cá Voi để kỷ niệm sự lịch sử quan trọng của địa phương. Lễ hội Sóc Trăng, lễ hội này là kỷ niệm sự lịch sử quan trọng của cộng đồng người Khmer. Tây Nguyên, lễ hội Cồng Chiêng, kỷ niệm lịch sử quan trọng của cộng đồng người Tây Nguyên. Lễ hội Cà Tì, lễ hội này kỷ niệm lịch sử quan trọng của cộng đồng người Tây Nguyên. Lễ hội Cầu Mưa, lễ hội này